We put the good in the good in the good life. We put the good in the good in the good life. We put the bad in the past, now we alright. Hey Lonnie, I got you. Yeah, and it's a feeling that
These are the rear valances. I took off my car already. It's just a simple 2 bolts on the inner wheel well, and then there's some factory 2-sided tape in the front and back that hold it together. Worth some kind of money. Oh. Oh shit. I say, what's going on? Today we're going to take off the rear bumper on my R32 GTST. To get at that, we have to get into the trunk, take all this back paneling off, because the majority of the bolts holding the bumper on are inside here, and there's a couple from the underside that we'll have to get at. So I'm going to take these Phillips head screwdrivers out to take off this top plate. Don't push too hard, because these are sleeves, so you get them going and you can pull them out, and those things you can just pop out with flathead. Like that, and then you just keep going along here. Pardon the mess I have going right now in the trunk of this car. I got my engine and all these parts off, and I just threw them in the trunk to save space. Oh, there's one on the inside over there. This one's missing, but I'm missing this guy. Never forget righty tighty, lefty loosey. Okay, this first piece is off. I always like to push these guys back together when I leave it off the car, just so I can figure out how to put it back together later. It's always a good idea when you take parts off or things apart to kind of put the screws back in their place, so like I said, later on you know how it went together. I'm kind of failing at this right now. Deal with that later. This last guy though is being really finicky. Sometimes these things can really suck pulling out, because a lot of times if you put any amount of force on them, you'll spin them and spin them and spin them, and they just won't come out. There we go. I'll leave that guy in. I do want to take a minute though to try to push these guys back in, because it will make it easier later on. I don't know if there's some nice tool for this. I never had one. I just kind of putzed with them for a while I had it. Fuck. Right. Irritating me. Usually these things aren't this hard. That guy's gonna go there. That guy was missing. This guy hooks up like this with this guy. So I'll just put it through this guy. I'm spending a serious amount of time on this. Whatever. I want to pass because I'm spending so much time on this, but I don't want to pass because I know months from now when I'm putting this back together, I'll be like, why the fuck didn't I just take the time to put it back together correctly? I need a light in here, so I'm going to use my phone because we're millennials and that's our phone does everything for us. Let's start on this side over here. So the next step after that trim piece is off is I would like to get this piece off. Now my Skyline's already missing a lot of little nuts and bolts, so you'll have a lot more stuff than me, but by the looks of it, all I have holding my back piece in here is this stuff way over here. Now, I can see there'd be something here, there'd be something here, and then in these corners from the factory, but somebody took mine apart with not much care, so I'm missing stuff. In America, there are a lot of Skylines that just didn't get all the pieces. This comes apart in the same way the top trim pieces came off. Flathead screwdriver underneath it, just kind of pop it up, and then you'll be able to work the clip out without breaking it. You just got to take your time. These pieces work by this little guy here. It pinches and it slides in through the hole, and there's really nothing holding it in. But that hole on top, once you slide this guy back through it all the way, like that, that prevents this from coming back together, and that's what holds it all in place. So now, I'm going to probably be able to take this guy out now because I seem to be missing most of my pieces. I'm gonna have to lift this up somewhat. This comes out, and if yours is broken like mine, you got a little flappy piece there, but other than that, that comes out. Now once again, I'm going to put these pieces back where I got them so I can put everything back together later. There we go. Get that one in. I got everything taken apart. The trim pieces are out, but the connection bolts are back in where they should be. So now, to take off this bumper, we have to take off all the supports that hold it in here. So, we are going to have to take off these guys, which hard for you to see, but I can see them. And this guy, which is also holding in my wiring harness. So that's going to be a real pleasure to take off. I think these top guys are probably just for my rear tail lights, but I'll have to take off these guys down here. And this guy's definitely part of it. So we will start by trying to figure out how to get this guy out. There we go. Just pull that guy gently. I don't know if I'm supposed to pry that. Yep. That guy comes right off by pulling on it. Prying at the base level. I'll take this off. Coming around to the other side, I have the exact same setup over here. But let's take these guys off first. That looks like a 10mm to me, so I'm going to grab a 10mm socket. This looks like my 10. And let's double check to make sure that 10mm fits. And it does. Righty tighty. Lefty loosey. So on an S13, the rear bumper comes off, and then there's a trim piece that goes between the rear bumper and the taillights. I had several S13s. This is my first R32 Skyline, and apparently that whole piece is one. I was not expecting that. I don't know if that bottom piece here is part of the bumper or the taillight. But I got these two out. I don't think there's anything further down. So now I'm going to go onto this side. I have to take off the same guy over here and the same guy up there. So, start with my flathead screwdriver. Try to get underneath this guy over here. Bit more of a trick than the other side because there's more going on over here. Well, there it is. Got that guy off. Now the wiring harness can get out of the way. And now we can take those bolts, those nuts off. I got those guys off. Now, I'm sure we're going to have to revisit this. But when I take the bumper off, I think this grommet and this ground might have to come off temporarily because I believe these lead to the license plate light back here. But we'll revisit that when we have to. So, those are all off. So I don't know if this guy's got any flexibility. There we go. That guy moves. This guy moves. Okay, so we got the top middle piece removed. We have to get to the sides and then the middle, and this piece should come off. So, I need to look now back in this bottom corner here. I'm going to check down here in the spare tire area, but I don't see any bolts down there. So we don't have to go in the spare tire, but now I have to go down over here. And these corners on both sides are going to be more attachments for the bumper. These are all held in just with 10mm nuts, so it's really easy. Just break them loose and then get them off their finger. So I got this side done. Now I'm going to go to the other side. Get down in here, my 10mm wrench. Just got the first guy loose, second guy loose. There's not a lot of torque on these things. There's not a lot of foot-pounds. So it's pretty easy just to break those nuts loose. I'm just trying to be careful that when I get it off, I don't drop it down in the abyss. All right, those are off. These are off. Now that's loose. All right, everything on the inside's taken off. Now I need to take my license plate off and then go underneath the car and take out the bolts in the bottom, and then I can pull this guy out. But I will have to be careful that once I start pulling it off, the license plate lights are connected, so I'll have to make sure I unplug them. So, I don't know what your license plate bolt is. Mine are self-tapping screws because of the fact that license plates in Japan and license plates in America have different spacing. So, I just drilled a hole through my license plate, my factory American plate, and moved it over. Because it's supposed to be over there, and I moved it over there. That one I had to move over too. So, keep my plate, because it's mine. Now, there is another one right here, and this is another 10 millimeter. But this guy's gonna break off. I can feel it. Oh, I might have some luck. Yeah, that guy didn't like me. Just my luck. But now this can come off, and that's free. Now I have to go underneath the car. You know, laying underneath my car like this, I have some wicked negative camber going on here. Holy crap. Holy crap. I should check my alignment on this thing, because looks like I got -6 degrees in the rear or something even more. Ugh. Oh my god. What's he doing? Nah. Don't get me started about a toe in the rear. That's a different show, kids. It's fun turning bolts you can't see. Some kids would call it a riot, a hoot. Okay, that guy's disconnected. Just kind of giving it the old rub and tug. That's loose. I believe I saw that there was one more up here. I might have to get a flashlight. I mean, I don't feel anything else holding this on. I'm gonna go to the other side. I'm underneath the other side, taking off the other nut. There's a strong smell of fuel by my gas tank, which is always good when you're right next to the heater in the garage. The pellet stove. This nut is really easy to get at. It's right in the bottom. You don't even have to jack your car up to get at it. And I feel like it's off. Almost. And actually, this one's not a nut. This one's a bolt. Years of weather makes it not come off easily. And huzzah! Okay, feels like we're getting there. I don't know if it's ready to come yet, but it feels like it could be. Probably something still holding it on in the middle. I think I'm missing something yet. What am I missing? but I definitely have missed something. That side's off. This side's off. The top is off. I haven't missed nothing. I just got to disconnect the, if you come in over here, you'll notice that down here, right here, and right here, I still have connected my factory license plate lights. So you can either unscrew them from the outside, but for now, I'm going to disconnect them, and that requires a flathead screwdriver. Get a nice flathead, slip it in underneath here, if you can, and once you get it in underneath, just pull. Or don't. Try to see if the other side is a bit more cooperative. Yep, the other side came. This guy is just being a meanie. So I'm gonna put, oh, well that gave me more room, look at that. So I got this guy up, nice and loose. He's starting to come. Sometimes you just gotta put your flathead in there and turn it, because he is a stubborn son of a gun. There we go. And now, ta-da! The Skyline bumper is removed. Somewhere. Go over here. I'm gonna throw on top of this bin, or those chairs, so I have a working surface. Yeah. So men scream. Cool. There we go. One out. Second one out. Your mouth is always a good placeholder for nuts, bolts, nails, screws, whatever you need. But now that I can keep my license plate lights, the bumper is ready to sell. What do you guys think of the factory spoiler? Do you guys like it? The factory GTST spoiler? I don't think I'm in love with it. In fact, I know it has a third brake light, but people love, well, technically it's a, no, it's a third. I'm not a huge fan of it. I like the sleek look without it. I'd like to get a roof spoiler. I think those are pretty sharp. I'd go with a big Super GT wing if I had a aggressive enough body kit and wheels, but I think I'm gonna take this off. What are your thoughts? Comment below. Drift, they said. It'll be fun, they said.